Hello everyone. Ever wondered what would happen if you went into the sewers? Well, this dungeon's pretty much what's gonna happen. Tamriel at least. But normally you wouldn't find crocodiles in the sewers, I don't think. Anyway, welcome to our next dungeon guide video for Wayrest 1. Here we'll be just going over the dungeon. It's not too fairly difficult of a dungeon. It will be somewhat of a long dungeon as a tank, since there's going to be a lot of trash to handle. And again, in these videos, we do not have any CP allocated. So what you're seeing here is people without CP, DPSing, healing, and tanking. Though the gear is a bit more, some of the gear might be a bit more endgame, some of it crafted, and so on. So here we are with the first boss after we're handling the skeevers and the crocodiles. Slime Craw's not too difficult of a boss. All he does is a tail swipe, some basic light attacks. People did actually use to parse on him for DPS testing back in the day, but yeah, again, not too fairly difficult of a boss. And here we have even more mobs and trash to handle. We got a lot of Pelingier thugs, some mercenaries hired by the Pelingier family, evidently. If you are following the story of the dungeon, I guess. Most people really don't. And before you engage the second boss of Wayrest 1, it's kind of nice to just clear out the trash on the left-hand side, because the boss does teleport around a bit, and he will probably teleport to this side, and you'll cause the aggro of these mobs anyway, and that might risk you dying. So here we are. If you are DPSing this fight, don't do your death roll to your meteor right away, because he's going to port straight away like that. After a while, he's going to stay here for approximately 20 to 25 seconds. All he honestly does, he summons this moving AoE that is a constant dot. You don't really have to sprint or dodge out of it. You can just walk around in a circle around the boss and kite it around. The second ability he does is that really obvious turnaround animation where he throws a ball of teal fire at someone. It's basically his heavy attack, like that. If you don't block it, he knocks you back. You can dodge roll it, and as you can see, he's a bit weird. There are a few bosses like him in this game that do not obey a tank's taunts. So if you have a tank in the group and the boss is hitting you a few times, obviously, don't blame the tank. Other examples of bosses that don't take taunts normally is that Ice Witch, the last boss in Direfrost Keep, and Celestrix when she does her cone in Arx Corinium, and a few light attacks. So we just killed that guy. Again, not too hard, you just gotta be managing your dots on him and moving with the boss. For this, we have more rats. What a surprise! More skeevers in a dirty sewer. Honestly, for a sewer, this actually looks not that bad. It probably smells a bit, but it doesn't look that bad. And here, if we go to the left, which a lot of groups don't, because they don't really look at achievements or really explore when you're doing pledges, you get more trash, more skeevers. These rat whisperers, and the next boss is actually the rat whisperer, if you want to include him in the achievement run. When we first did this a long time ago, I had a lot of trouble with the rat whisperer as a DPS, because if you don't have enough AoE cleave, this boss can actually be pretty deadly. It was pretty comical that we kept wiping some guy called the rat whisperer. As you can see, there's two interruptible abilities, like the Nightmare one, the ice one right here. You can bash that. I didn't bash that for whatever reason. And you see the skeevers spawn. Come to me, my minions. Yeah, that move pretty much wiped my groups quite a long time ago when we didn't have CP. And here we are with enough cleave, enough damage, enough single target, we get past this boss, even without CP allocated. So we're gonna continue on. Get some loot, I guess. And we're gonna just get these guys out of the way, and we have the next fourth boss of Veteran Wayrest 1 standing up there on the stairs. waiting, watching us. Oh, never mind, he came back down. So this guy is really annoying, especially in bet 2. However, in bet 1, all he does is fear the group, regardless of how close you are to him, I believe. And you just basically have to kill him as he constantly does the same thing over and over again. A few light attacks, and he starts spinning around. Something I think people used to do when they were like 5 years old. I don't think that's a very threatening move, personally. It's just waving an axe around in a circle. Anyway, he does that constantly until you kill him. And this is a really annoying part about Wayrest 1 and 2. The door that just doesn't open. For whatever reason, whatever causes it, you're still stuck in combat even after you kill everything up to this point. So the best option for you, the group, to do is just crouch and just kind of wait. Or play the loot. And after waiting and crouching for a little bit, you can open the door. Now, the next important step here is there's going to be some mud crabs to your left when you go through the door. Don't jump down and aggro them up, or the people still waiting on the other side of the door to open it, cannot open it regardless, since you're in combat. So just wait a little bit, and there we are. And for whatever reason, these mud crabs are already hostile to us. Most mud crabs in ESO are generally neutral. They don't really attack on sight. But for whatever reason, somehow or some way, the Paling Gears recruited mud crabs to their cause. And here we are, the next and 5th boss of Wayrest 1. One of the Paling Gear siblings. He just basically does 2 abilities. The first ability you saw, that one is when he turns around to a random person or stays on the tank, depending, he just chooses a random target at will, and there's a cone that knocks you back. You can't block it, you can however sidestep it. I don't know how that guy managed to not get blown away. The second ability he does is that spin. You just want to block it or step out of it, and that's honestly all he does. And as you can see, I did block that, but I still got knocked away. I don't know, it's a very faulty ability. Then he asks you after he dies somehow, who are you? I would feel like he should ask you that at the beginning of the fight, whatever. Alright, so even more trash, more rats, more thugs. Oh, what a surprise turn of events. So yeah, you just want to stack it as best as you can as a tank. The DPS, set your dots down, your AoEs. Just melt it all. And obviously you don't have to do this trash, do all these mobs the way it is shown in the video. It's just one of many ways you can stack them easily. And obviously you don't have to pull everything at once if you're not comfortable with the dungeon yet, or with the group. But here we do try to pull everything all at once, just to kind of make the dungeon go by a little faster. Yeah. It really doesn't look that bad. The sewers don't really look that bad. Considering the time period the Elder Scrolls, this Elder Scrolls story is in. But yeah, here we are, yet another gigantic trash pool that needs to be killed. More thugs. What a surprise. And there's a skeever in the corner, just a random skeever in the corner. And here we are, more rats, more skeevers, and more thugs. There will be a couple more trash pools up ahead, and then it will be the final, last boss, the sister of the Paling Gear siblings. Obviously, as you can see, chains on a Dragon Knight is really nice. If you're of other classes, there are alternative skills you can use to stack these trash mobs. Sorry, didn't mean to insult the NPCs. And here we are, the last trash pool of the dungeon, at last. we're very, very close to the end. You want to clear these mobs out before you engage the boss, because you just don't want more extra damage incoming when you fight this boss, especially on the hard mode, because you'll see. And the hard mode scroll is really far away, and we read it, and then you engage the boss. Now, what's interesting about this boss is she has a health-based mechanic that when she gets to certain health intervals, she disappears and summons these nightmare spawns that you have to kind of kill in order for it to spawn again, as you'll see. And her second mechanic or ability she does is she jumps to a random person and does a Nightblade ambush animation on them, just basically a sneak attack. And if you're not blocking that or getting healed through it, or you don't have enough health, you will die to it. It's kind of a one shot, and as you can see, that dot is ridiculous, especially without CP. I've seen people with full CP still die to that ability. As you can see, we just got the first health-based nightmare mechanic. She comes back out, she targets the Magblade in the group, and our healer has enough healing to kind of help power through that damage. And this is pretty much the same fight over and over, and the targeting for the boss is random, so it's kind of unfortunate she went for the same DPS twice now. Or 3 times technically, because she did die. And here's a second nightmare phase. As a Dragon Knight tank, you can talons them even if they're in the air. Minor maim will still affect them. Make sure you block the heavy attack. If you're a DPS or the healer, don't stray too far away from this boss, because if you're too far out, the heals might not be on you as a DPS, so you'll just die to the dot from her little ambush attack right away. So as you can see, the DPS are in front of the healer. If she jumps to a DPS, they get healed immediately. As for the healer, he is a bit too far in the back, but he is within his own healing. I don't know why he procced Olorime on himself, maybe for more more healing, I don't know. But anyway, we just keep repeating these phases, and then she turns sort of demonic looking. It doesn't really like buff her resistances or anything. It seems to increase her damage output slightly, but not too much. As you can see, it is noticeable in that whirlwind she did, but other than that, just keep it up and just finish the fight, and that's it. Congratulations on clearing that Wayrest 100.
Everything changes.